This story is called Kassa the Strong One. Once long ago, among the Mende people of West Africa, there lived a strong young warrior named Kassa. "I am the strongest and the bravest and the swiftest," boasted Kassa. One day, Kassa went with his friends Erie and Congo on a hunting trip. Erie and Congo carried guns, but Kassa carried a sharpened spear of forged iron. After some days, Erie and Congo had killed no game, but Kassa had killed 20 swift, large antelope. They began to make the return journey to their village with their supply of meat. They came to a clearing and decided to rest and decide what to do. Kassa said, "We must go into the forest and gather firewood so that we may smoke the meat to preserve it as we return. Tomorrow, Erie, you and I will go into the forest and gather firewood, and Congo, you will remain to guard the meat." And so, the next day, Erie and Kassa went into the forest, leaving Congo to guard the pile of 20 antelope. Soon, a great black bird flapped into the clearing and landed near Congo. "I am hungry," croaked the bird. "Shall I take you, or shall I take the meat?" "Oh, please," said Congo, "take the meat." And so the bird grabbed a big antelope in its talons and flew easily away with it. When Erie and Kassa returned to the clearing with their arms full of firewood, Congo told them what had happened. "You let that bird take one of the antelope? You should have told it to take you. We need more firewood, and so tomorrow, Erie, you will stay here to guard the meat, and Congo will come with me into the forest." And so the next day, Congo and Kassa went into the trees, and Erie remained to guard the antelope. Soon, that great bird returned, flapping into the clearing and landing in front of Erie. "I am hungry," croaked the great bird. "Shall I take you, or shall I take the meat?" The bird was large and fearsome, and Erie stepped back in fear. "Oh, by all means, take the meat," cried Erie. And so the bird grabbed another antelope in its talons and flew away with it. When Kassa and Congo returned with more firewood, Erie told them what had happened. "What? Another antelope is gone? You should have told that bird to take you. We need more firewood, and so tomorrow I will remain to guard the meat, and you, Erie and Congo, will go back into the forest to gather more firewood." And so the next day, Erie and Congo returned to the forest, and Kassa stood guard, his feet planted wide, braced and ready to attack, his arm raised, holding that great sharpened spear of forged iron. Soon, the great bird returned, flapping into the clearing and landing near Kassa. "I am hungry," croaked the bird. "Shall I take you, or shall I take the meat?" "You shall take neither." and throwing the great spear, Kassa attacked the bird. The spear pierced the bird's breast, and it fell dead on the ground. But from the wound floated one tiny breast feather up and up into the air, and then down it floated, landing on Kassa's strong shoulder. But the weight of that tiny feather was so great that it pressed Kassa down and down until he lay flat upon the earth, his cheek pressed into the dirt of the clearing. He lay flat and could not rise. He lay there for many hours until, at last, a young woman carrying a baby on her shoulder entered the clearing. "Help me," cried Kassa. "Go into the forest and fetch my friends for help." And so the young woman hurried away and soon returned with Erie and Congo. They tried to lift the tiny feather from Kassa's shoulder. They tried to raise him up out of the dirt, but they could not succeed. The young woman stood to one side, watching their efforts. And when they could do nothing to help Kassa, she stepped forward and, bending down with her mouth, she blew the feather off Kassa's shoulder. And then she grabbed the great bird by its neck and handed it to her baby for a toy. And then she and her baby went on their way. And that is the story of Kassa the Strong One.